Vermont. August 7th, Route 103 south to Minerva Hinchy Shelter. Dave flew us to Rutland Airport in Vermont, and we rented a car to drive to the AT trailhead off of Route 103, less than a mile from the airport. Near the parking lot was a gorge with a lot of local people swimming in the water, no through hikers. A scenic suspension bridge crossed over the gorge. It swayed and bounced a little when we crossed it. We saw a through hiker near the gorge, and he looked shocked seeing all the people in the water. It is very discouraging when you are a hiker and have been hiking for a long time and come out of the woods to hear and see this. The trail began its climb right away through a hemlock and pine forest, and we could hear gravel equipment and traffic noise all the way up to the lookout. This part of the trail was steep, and the temperatures was in the 80s, which made the climb even harder. We reached the lookout of the airport we flew into, and we thought that it was the top. Then we climbed up more to another lookout, and we had thought that this was the top. Then we climbed even higher and finally reached the top, where it walked along a ridge into the hardwoods. On both sides of the trail, we saw wildflowers. It was getting a little breezy up here, and the trail went up a little more and into a more open area, but with no views, but lots of wildflowers, some brush, and tall grass. We also saw a big bird flying overhead, maybe a hawk or a falcon. Someone had said that falcons have been seen in this area. We went through a small power line clearing and then climbed again a little. We saw a lake through the trees and then began to descend. We saw a small blue arrow on a sign that said shelter. It pointed left off the trail. We reached the Minerva Hinchy Shelter, which looked like a cabin with 2 windows on each side. Someone was sitting inside reading the shelter logbook at a table. There were some tent sites around the shelter in the woods. The man at the table said that he was out for a 10-day backpacking trip on the Long Trail with his father. The Long Trail starts at the border of Massachusetts and is part of the AT about halfway north until it splits off and heads north to the Canada border. We asked him where the spring was, and he told us where it was. We were almost out of the 2 full 8-aughts of water in our water bottles, so we went to the spring to filter some water. Around the spring were lots of mosquitoes. The trail wasn't too buggy other than this. On the way back, we saw 2 snakes, a chipmunk, and we heard some crows, caw-caw, and a distant crow answering back. We noticed that the local people call this trail the Long Trail and not the Appalachian Trail, as the Long Trail was here before the Appalachian Trail was made. We met 2 young guys heading toward the shelter, and they asked us how far it was to the shelter, not sure if they were through hikers.